Okay, this week I'm going to look at something just a little different. I'm going to point out something in the book of Jasher that I think you will find quite interesting. But I'm going to start out with Joshua chapter 10, verse 13. And it says, "And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher?" So the Bible itself talks about not much, but a very little. It brings up at least the book of Jasher. And also, there's more to that verse, but I'm going to move on. Also in 2 Samuel chapter 1, verse 18 says, "Also he bid them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher." So Jasher is brought up again. Now these are the only two times in the scriptures that it brings up the book of Jasher. So I'm going to look at the flood a little bit, because Jasher gives you a little bit more detail as to the account of the flood. So I'm going to point out a very little on with that. But I'm going to show you what has already been, is going on right now today on the world stage. Now I'm going to look at Jasher chapter 2, verses 19 and 20. "For in those days the Son of Men began to transgress against God, and to trespass the commandment which he commanded to Adam, to be fruitful and multiply in the earth." Verse 20. "And some of the sons of men caused their wives to drink a draught that would render them barren, in order that they might retain their figures, and whereby their beautiful appearance might not fade." So you see sterilization. Satan introduced sterilization early on in the world. Now this was before the flood. What is going on now? Birth control. They put so many different types of chemicals in our water that it would not shock me if they have stuff in there to try to make women as well as men sterile. It would not shock me. But that was going on before the flood. Now let's look at Jasher chapter 4, verse 18. And the judges and rulers, now these are the fallen angels. "And the judges and rulers went to the daughters of men, and took their wives by force from their husbands, according to their choice. And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other, in order there to provoke the Lord. And God saw the whole earth, and it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth, all men and all animals." They taught the mixture of one species with another, meaning gene splicing. I have in my favorites, which is just below you, a news article or clip about gene splicing. You can look in my favorites and see it. What I'm pointing out is what has been is going on. And in the book of Ecclesiastes, I think it's chapter 1, verse 9. I could be mistaken because I don't have it right now in front of me, but I believe that's the chapter and verse. Chapter 1, verse 9. It says there's nothing new under the sun. And why did they do it? To provoke the Lord. Now, I'm not saying that these women that are choosing not to have kids are intentionally trying to provoke God. No. But the powers that be that invoke these things, they are. scientists are doing these things with the motive to provoke the Lord to anger. I'm not saying that, but I am saying the powers that be that invoke these things, they are. Everything God said don't do, they do. God said don't commit adultery. They promote adultery on TV sitcoms, soap operas. God said mankind should not live with mankind as with woman. They promote homosexuality, pornography. God said, don't lie. What do our politicians do? Starting from the White House on down. They lie with a clear conscience. And then got the nerve to demand that you tell the truth to them. What hypocrites? What hypocrites? To Congress, to the Senate, the Supreme Court, all of them, judges, lawyers, make a living offline. There no morals whatsoever, zero, but demand that you have them. Tell me that's not a hypocrite. Another story though. And now I'm going to look a little bit at the flood. I'm not going to deal on a lot, but to point out something that was going on then that is going on now. Jasher chapter 6 verses 11, 12, and then 19. Verse 11. And on that day the Lord on that day the Lord caused the whole earth to shake, and the sun darkened, and the fountains of the earth raged, and the whole earth was moved violently, and the lightning flashed, and the thunders roared, and all the foundations of the earth were broken up, such as was not known to the inhabitants before. And God did this mighty act in order to terrify the sons of men, that there might be no more evil upon the earth. Notice what he done. Darkened the sun, shook the whole earth violently. The whole earth shook. To me that sounds like it wobbled out of orbit. The whole earth shook. That was a mighty earthquake of some sort, or it wobbled out of orbit, which is spoken of in Isaiah chapter 24. The earth is shaken and flipped upside down, mentioned in Isaiah chapter 24. And also Christ in Matthew chapter 24 talks about the sun being darkened and everything else. To try to get men to stop doing evil, and they did not stop. What do you see today? Man, they are not stopping. But it gets better. Verse 12. And still the sons of men would not return from their evil ways, and they increased the anger of the Lord at that time, and did not even direct their hearts to all this. They didn't stop. What do you see now? They are gene splicing to provoke God. We are having droughts now. Not just in the U.S., but in different parts around the world. God is trying to get the attention of the world. But the world will not listen, just like they did not listen before the flood. They did not listen and they will not listen. But listen to this. This is the cream of the crop, at least it is to me. Listen to this. Now the people, when the rain came, in earlier verses before 19, between 12 and 19, when God caused the rain to come, the 700,000 people came to the ark to try to get in, telling Noah to open up. Noah said, for 120 years, I preached to you, it was him and his, if I'm mistaken, that was his grandfather or his uncle, one of them, Methuselah, preached to them for 120 years. God gave them 120 years, and they did not repent. Now all of a sudden, since the rain and the flood coming, now they are ready to repent. And Noah told them, no, God is not going to hear you now. You didn't repent in the time span. Now all of a sudden, since you see what's coming, now all of a sudden you are ready to repent and return to God. Revelation speaks of men would not repenting from the works of their hand. But listen to what Noah told them in and tell me if this does not sound familiar. Verse 19. And Noah said with a loud voice, answered them from the ark, saying, have you not all rebelled against the Lord and said that he does not exist? Have you not all rebelled against the Lord and said that he does not exist? What do scientists say today? Once again, this was before the flood. What do scientists say today? Darwinism. And Darwinism don't even believe in their own theory. How can I say that so boldly? Very simple. They believe, or so-called believe, that the world came in existence out of nothing. But yet, if I bring their same argument to them concerning a watch or a car or a house, saying that my house came out of, just all of a sudden came out of nowhere and just existed, they would not believe it. Thus, they don't believe their own theory. It is intentionally to provoke God, because they do not believe their own stand. If you use what, like I just did, something of this earth, and say that my house just, there was a bomb exploded and my house just appeared, they'll look at you like, who you think I am? But yet they take the same stand concerning the universe, which is far more complex than the engine of an automobile, far more complex than our most advanced computer. They believe that of that. Come on. They don't believe their own theory. They don't. But what are the atheists saying? God does not exist. They do not believe he exists, to provoke God. I'm going to read that again. 19. And Noah said with a loud voice, answered them from the ark, saying, have you not all rebelled against the Lord and said that he does not exist, and therefore the Lord brought upon you this evil, to destroy and cut you off from the face of the earth? That is what's going to happen in Revelation at the end of this age. God is going to cut them off because they refuse to believe that he exists. They refuse to repent of their evil works, gene splicing, mixing one species of animals with the other, corrupting his creation. They want to change his order into their own order. Any one of you, if you have a business, you would not let anyone come into your business and change the structure of your business. But yet, you find it offensive that God would not let you come into his creation and change the structure of his creation. That is a hypocrite. You are hypocrites. From the White House on down, all of y'all. They may have a few, a very few, that don't. Y'all are a bunch of hypocrites, because you don't live by the standards in which you set for others. And you take the same stance with God. Once again, you will not let anybody come into your business and change the structure of it, but get mad and offended that God won't let you come into his creation and change the structure of it. The same has happened then. Last time it was destroyed with a flood. This time it's going to be destroyed by fire. But this world, this age and world will be destroyed, just like it was, because just as man did not repent back then in the book of Jasher and in the Holy Bible, man did not repent in ancient times, and they will not repent in modern time. So once again, let these wicked governments, these wicked international bankers, the Bilderberg Group, the Federal Reserve Banking System, the arm of them is the IRS, which is an illegal institution. Let those wicked people continue in their wickedness, because from wicked come forth wickedness. They are all wicked. Let them continue in their doings. This economy will not get better. The shape of this world will not get better. It is by design to destroy the earth, to destroy the world, and bring about a one world government. Peace.